What's up guys, Cory here, and today we're reviewing the first live-action Pokemon film, Detective Pikachu. Now, this could have went one or two ways, really, really well, or really, really terrible. So, how did it go? We'll break it down for you right now in Attack of the Review.
So there I was. I woke up with a heavy case of amnesia in the middle of nowhere. The only clue to my past is Harry's name and address inside this hat. So I made my way to the apartment, and that's when I found you and your stapler gun.
Stop talking! You're a hallucination!
You're a hallucination.
So you're a talking Pikachu with no memories who's addicted to caffeine.
I could stop whenever I want. These are just choices. Another round, extra shot, black as night. Thank you, sweetie. I don't know. Maybe Harry got in too deep. Mixed up with the wrong crowd, that kind of thing. Look, you can talk to humans. I can talk to Pokemon. And if you want to find your pops, we're gonna need each other.
No, I don't need a Pokemon.
What about a world-class detective? Ah, my clues!
What is all this?
Harry is still alive. Case closed, but still open until I solve it. All right, here it is. Harry faked his own death. Or somebody else faked Harry's death. Or Harry faked somebody else's death. That last one doesn't work
No.
at all.
So going into this film, I was honestly excited, but I was worried as well, because live action, anything animated, especially as far as we've seen so far in film adaptations of anime or video games, they're very, very hard to get well done on camera when you translate it into the real world. Let's take back and look at Dragon Ball Evolution, for example. One of the worst anime to live action adaptations I've ever seen. I think we'll ever see, because I don't know if you can get too much worse than that. It was just so literally translated that it just was weird and off-putting, and that's just not something you want in a film that has so much tie to your childhood and so much nostalgia to it. So with Detective Pikachu, it was something that I think them jumping into a game that was much later on in the series was, one, the first good choice that this film is making, and then two, the animators went and actually dove into people and into the ideas behind the Pokemon and the people that made them and the people that see new visions with how they could be realistically. And I think a lot of that was the cool way of doing it. If you didn't end up doing it that way and actually having, fans and people that grew up with Pokemon designing these things, and you're just trying to translate them, then you're going to just get some really kind of weird, strange creatures, because there's just too many things that people would want because that's how they saw it in the cartoon, or that's how they saw it growing up, and they just never thought they'd see a realistic version. But for Detective Pikachu to go the way it went, I was actually pleasantly surprised, because going in, I really thought it could be a train wreck for the animation, even though the trailers looked great, and all the commercials that they had put on TV and everything that they've done, no matter if you watch it on a phone or a giant screen, it was looking really good, and everything wasn't, off-putting. So that was a step in the right direction already. So going in, that was the only concern, and it was something that I was actually immediately kind of negated off the gap, because right when I started, the film was honestly much better than I thought it was, and the whole entire time I had a good time. So yeah. So let's start with the acting. I'm going to have to give the acting a B, because other than a lot of the Pokemon who, are designed, and, it has Ryan Reynolds doing one voice, the acting was, it was there, but it wasn't anything outstanding. It wasn't anything crazy. There wasn't too much from Justice, but I will say he was better than I thought a lot of people are giving him credit for. He had more emotion, and he had a little bit more story to tell than too much, but you could tell that they wanted to focus on the Pokemon here. They wanted you to know that the Pokemon are the real story. And getting that kind of development, even though it was Ryan Reynolds, I wasn't a big fan of Ryan Reynolds being chosen at first, but the way it came off was actually really, really well done. It wasn't as sarcastic as Deadpool. It was a little bit more fun and lively. So I will say, other than a few of the human characters, which were pretty easy to guess, or they were just a little bland, or, it's just their developmental stage. They're just at a young and confused part in their life, and that's kind of what the whole movie shows, is that the Pokemon are really driving people to get their lives, kind of out there and adventure and do new things and see the world and for what it is. So it was a cool way to do that, but through the acting, especially for the human characters, wasn't always there, so I'm gonna have to give it a solid B.
You can hear him, right?
Pika Pika! Yeah, Pika Pika Pika, he's adorable.
You're adorable. They can't understand me, kid.
I gotta give the cinematography an A because this film actually was beautiful, especially with all the incorporations of all the CGI Pokemon. There was a lot that could have went wrong, as we talked about beforehand. It's like everyone, I think, was a little bit worried that it was not going to come off real. It was not going to come off good, that the acting or the characters or the animation would be off-putting and just not there for us, you know, because as children watching cartoons, it's much more imaginative than the real world can replicate. And for this, though, the cinematography really showcases that imagination. It does really, really well, and that's exactly what you needed it to do. Because in cartoons, you can have cameras fly in any way, you can do anything you want if it's not real, but they're making it a little bit, you know, more tedious to do if you want it to be in a realistic, you know, live-action adaptation. So, especially when we see with Avengers, you need a lot of budget, you need a lot of people, you just need so much work to get done for it to be entertaining and not cheesy. But we're finally getting there because a film like this really showcases what you can do with live Pokemon, and it was kind of breathtaking, I will say that. I mean, it was awesome, and in just the cinematography itself, I gotta give it an A because it really, really puts you in the film. It makes you believe that Pokemon are there, and they exist, and you kinda wanna go catch one, so.
Saying you can shove it.
What? I can shove it? Okay, that's it. No, we're switching roles. I'm bad cop, you're good cop.
No, we're not cops.
In my head, I saw that differently.
Overall, I gotta give Pokemon Detective Pikachu 4 out of 5 stars because it was really a great live-action adaptation, if not the best video game adaptation so far, but not to mention just as an anime or a nostalgic trip, it was something that I honestly enjoyed every frame, every second, and it was something I will go see probably 2 more times in theaters. I'll buy on DVD and I will add that to my, you know, increasing collection of Pokemon nerd memorabilia until one day I just have an entire collection, and it really does open the door for more Pokemon films after this. So I'm hoping we'll get those more trainer, go out and catch, and, you know, kind of get into the story and the grit of what Pokemon was all about as a kid, you know, back in the 90s. So, but other than that, Detective Pikachu was a great first adaptation and a great way of getting everyone introduced to the world of Pokemon. So, solid 4 out of 5 stars for Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
He's barely moving.
Don't tell him that. Oh, he's on a bike. Quick, get in front of him.
Stop.
Oh, no. He's going down hard, Tim. Should have worn a helmet.
Well guys, that's all the time we have for today on this review of Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Let us know what you thought about the movie down here in the comments. As always, hit subscribe over here on this side for more videos in the coming weeks. And we'll see you next time on Midnight Media TV.